Hello students, welcome to the lecture series on railway, harbors, tunneling and airport, which is a professional elective for the 6th semester students. But let's first look into the syllabus. What are the things included in this subject? First, we will be studying on the railway planning. So, as the subject name indicates, we will be going to study about the railways. We will be studying detail about the harbors, tunneling, and the airport. Mainly, we will be going to talk about the how the designing will be done. What are the characteristics of various components of the different modes of transportation? All those things will be discussed here. So in the first module, we will be discussing about the railway planning, which includes we will be comparing the different modes of transportation, what are the how to coordinate the different modes of transportation, and what is the significance of choosing the railways over the other networks. And also we will be discussing about the what are the elements of the permanent way. So in the track system, railway track, what are the elements which are included, and for each and every element we will be discussing about the what is the requirement and what are the functions served by it, and what are the various classification of components. Those things will be studied here. Mainly we will be discussing on the rails, sleepers and the ballast, rail fixtures and the rail fastenings. So once we understand the what are the components of the rail system, we'll be going to study about the how the route alignment survey will be done, and also we will be studying about the various geometric designs of the railways, which includes the gradient, super elevation, extra widening, points and crossing. And in the second module, we will actually discussing about the how the construction, railway track construction will be carried out, and what are the various stages in the railway track construction. And we will also be discussing upon the how the maintenance work will be done, what are the various types of the maintenance work that is included and how it will be done. So that will be discussed in the second module. Along with that, we will be discussing on the urban rail infrastructure. For example, how the metros, monorails and the underground railways need to be planned. So those things will be covered in the second module. And when it comes to the third module here it deals with the harbors and the tunneling. In the first part, we will be discussing about the how to plan and the design for the harbor facilities, and what are the requirement, and what are the various types of the harbors available, and the design principle, harbor layout, and how to plan for the terminal facilities, and how we can think of the inland water transportation. Those things will be studied in the first part of the third module. And in the second part, we will be discussing upon the tunneling. Mainly within the tunneling, we will be discussing on what is the requirement of the tunneling, and how to decide the size and shape of the tunneling based upon the requirement, and how the tunnel, what are the various methods of tunneling, and how the tunnel lining has to be provided, drainage and the ventilation for the tunnel has to be provided. All those things will be discussed in the third module. And here in the fourth and fifth module, we will be discussing about the airports. So in the fourth module, we will be discussing upon the what are the characteristics of airport, the classification, how to plan, and what are the objectives and the components and various layout, all those things, and the design criteria which are used in the airport planning, and the typical layout plannings, and how to provide the parking facility, terminals in the airport. Those things are studied in the fourth module. And in the last fifth module, we will be going on the airport design. So in the airport design, mainly we will be talking about the how to design the runways. So the runway designs will be based upon the windrows diagram, and we will be deciding the how to runway length has to be calculated, and also the some of the geometric designs of the runways are discussed here. And along with the runways, we will be talking about the what are the elements of the taxiway and the airport zone, and what are the passenger facilities that are provided, and the runways, taxiways, marking, and how to provide the lighting in the airport. So all those things will be studied in the fifth module. And by the end of, I will also talk about the what are the course outcome for subject railway, harbor, tunneling, and the airport. At the end of the subject, okay, after completion of the 40 hours, the student should able to outline the what is the importance of the planning, the construction aspects and maintenance of various components of the rails and airports system, and also they should be able to design the planned railway system, airport layout, facilities that is required for the runway, taxiways, and also the student should have a knowledge upon the visual aids that is used in the airports. And also the student should have a knowledge to apply in the features of channeling, harbors, including the what is the necessary of navigation aids, and you should be able to summarize the various method of construction of channel lining, drainage, and the environmental consideration. So here we have made the 3 COs, and after the completion of the 40 hours, the student should able to attain all these COs. So now let us start with the discussion with the module 1, that is the railway planning. So before moving to the how the planning will be done, so let us talk about why the railways, how the Indian railways are evolved. Okay, so here we have the Indian railways. The first railway proposal for India was made in the year 1832, and that was in Madras. So it was under the we all know that the British are the one who started the railways in India. So that was started in Madras in the year 1832, and our first country train is ran between the Red Hills to the Chandris Bridge in the Madras itself. That is in the year 1837, and we call that as the Red Hill Railways. And also the first passenger train in the India, it has ran for 34 kilometer, carrying 400 people in 14 carriage. So that is on our broad gauge track between the Bori, Burda, Mumbai, and the Thane in the 16 April 1853. And also the first passenger train. Okay, so in South India, coming to the South India, it is run between Raipuram, Madras to Arcot, Vellore. Okay, so that is in the year 1857, which is for having a total length of 97 kilometers. So, and at the present, so we all know the Indian railway systems are all under operation of the central government, and the Ministry of the Railway is the head who is controlling all the operations, construction, maintenance of the railway system. And in the and when you look into the compare with the other countries, India manages as the 4th largest railway network in the world, and we are having a total rail network connectivity length of 67,368 kilometers. Okay, so that is a distance that we have covered in the railways with the help of the railways, and we have a total track length of 1,21,407 kilometer. So this is the as of March 2007 the network which has been calculated. And all the routes are electrified with the 25 kilowatt AC, and also and almost more than 33% of double or multi-tracked networks. And India runs more than 20,000 passenger trains every day. So both in terms of the long distance and suburbans, nothing but the within the urban area. And also we are having a total around 7,349 stations. And the freight segments, when it comes to this freight segment, yes, it is one of the successful mode of transportation in the freight segment. So we run every day 9,200 trains every day. So and the freight trains which is having a average speed of 24 kilometer per hour. And Indian railways are one of the most popular mode of transportation in our country, and it is very much, as a railway engineers, it is very much essential for us to understand how the components of the railways and how you can design and maintain the railway facilities for the sustainable growth of the country. So now why to choose the railway system over the other mode of transportation? And since we will be discussing about the various mode, planning the facilities for the various modes of the transportation, so we'll look into the what are the advantages and disadvantages, and what are the characteristics of the different modes of the transportations. So now the modes, different modes of the transportations is first categorized into three basics mode. The first one is the land transportation, water transportation, and the air transportation. So within the land transportation, we have the pathways. Anyways, this is not, we are not going to talk about that, and we will be having the roadways, tramways, and the railways. So in this particular unit, we will be talking about module. We will be talking about the railway system. Okay, so railway system, it can be for the passenger trains or the one which carries the freight traffic or the goods, goods. And second, we will be having the next mode of transport, water transport, where we have inland and the ocean transport. And the third one is the air transportation. Once again, that will be to carry the passenger as well as the cargoes. So now let us look into the what are the characteristics and advantages and disadvantages of various modes of transportation. So now the first one, we have the road transportation. So now we'll know the wide road transportation and what are the advantages and disadvantages of road transportation. So anyways, the basic advantages of the road transportation is it will be provide the door-to-door service. Means when you start from your point of origin and you can reach your destination point without any change in mode of transportation. That flexibility is only possible in the road transportation. And also, what is the capital that we invest to for the construction of the facilities, road transportation facilities, or less compared to the other modes of transportation. And with the help of the roads, you can connect the each and every corner, remote area within the rural areas. And this service is a very flexible service, flexible both in terms of the route, selection of the route, and the selection of the time. You can select the any convenient route which is possible for you, and you can travel at the any convenient time. Okay, that is called it a flexibility in service. And also there is a very risk of damages in the transit. Okay, since the very highly well maintained roads and the good facilities what we provide, so when you transport the any goods, okay, that damages what we expect will be very less. And also it is one of the rapid speed compared to the water and rail transportation. Obviously we all know that. And private, we can own our vehicle. Okay, so owning a train is quite not possible. And also, okay, in fact you can own your jets, private jets, but what is the cost of it? It's very high. So owning your private owned vehicles, purchasing a car or any network, any vehicle which runs on your road network is less cheaper compared to the others. And also it is a feeder to the other modes of transportation. Means feeders in the sense it gives the railways and the harbor or the ships or your aeroplanes that runs between your airports or between the harbors or in between the railway station. So now to give road transportation is the one which will give connected to the airports or your railway station or your harbor, so that we call it as the feeders. Okay, so these are some of the advantages of the road transportations. And we do have a disadvantages in the road transportation. It's very seasonal in nature, so there are chances that your road may get blocked during the monsoon. And accidents or breakdowns are very high because the road congestions are increasing day by day, which is leading to the more number of accidents, and vehicles are expected to break down very frequently. And also it is not very suitable for the long distances. Okay, the driving for a long distances will be inconvenient, and also for the bulk transporting very heavy bulky goods is also not economical with the help of the road transportation. And it is very disorganized one, the road transportation system, and we don't have a sufficient buses sometimes. Okay, it is not in all the cases. In some cases the organizations are very poor here, and it is only economical for the shorter distance. And when you move to the longer distance, road network proves to be very costly, and it is vulnerable to congestion and the traffic delays. Yes, we all can see in the cities like Bangalore, lot of traffic congestion and the traffic delays because of the road vehicles, that are more number of vehicles on the road. So next is we have the rail transportation. Okay, that what were the disadvantages we had in the road transportation? The few of it have been overcome here with the help of the rail transportation. So we can see here it is a lowest overall cost per unit weight. Okay, to haul the goods in terms of the weight, you require minimum energy compared to the other road network, and also it is very safest from the transportation, so accident rates are very less, and it can be effectively used to link into the multimodal system. Okay, so we will talk about this multimodal system in the coming slide, and it is having a very high capacity than the road transportation facilities, and also it runs on a fixed time schedules. Unlike the road, we don't have any flexibility there. The timings is fixed, and it is well suitable for the hauling for the long distance journeys. And the disadvantages we are facing here in the rail transportation, so we have very restricted routes. Okay, we cannot it's not possible for us to construct the railway track in all the region, and also it is an inflexible mode. If it is not possible for to change the route or change possibility to change your timings is all restricted, and also they cannot stop at the intermediate points, so that your trains will stop only at the fixed points where you are having the station predetermined points. One cannot stop the train wherever you wish to, but in the road transportation, that is up to you. You can stop your vehicle at any point you require. And also rail transportation cannot provide the door to door service. I've already explained you what is door to door service. So with the help of the rail transportation, trains can run only between the two railway station. Okay, train cannot go up to your home job. And also the huge capital expenditure. So yes, we do have a lot of advantages over here. Investing once at a time, that's not a greatest disadvantages, but still constructing the railway facilities is involves the great expenditure. So now the next mode of transportation we have is the water transportation. So the advantages, as we all know, the water we have been studying from your school days. Water transportation is the cheapest mode of transportation. Of course, energy requirement to haul unit weight is very cheap compared to the any other mode of transportation here. And water transportation is the ideal only to transport your heavy and bulky goods, and it is suitable for products with the long lead times. Okay, those will have a greater expiry date. Okay, but one which is having a less expiry date, lifespan is very less, so such products cannot be transported here in the water transportation, and it requires cheap motors power than the aeroplanes or any other mode of transportation. And the disadvantages, yes, slowest or cheapest, also the very slowest mode of transportation, and it requires longer delivery times, and also within the sea or ocean, it is not possible for you to track the exact location. So anyways, now the technology has been developed, and it is possible for us to track the location of the any ships, or during the transit you can trace it actually. And its inflexibility is being limited between the appropriate ports. Okay, we cannot have it in all the ports. Okay, they will have restrictions, so it can run between the only some few appropriate flexible ports. And also transfers to ship takes a lot of time, and that requires more labor power is required to transferring your goods into the ships. And the last one which we have is the air transportation. Yes, advantages, the fastest mode of transportation. You can reach your destination very sooner compared to any other mode of transportation. And also it's a very expensive mode as compared to the others. And the basic another very good advantages is that we will have a comfortable travel, and it is efficient and quick transportation service. And the disadvantages is, yes, we all know it's a expensive one, and there is a weight limits. We cannot transport the any weight it is required for you. There is a limit for weight. And air transportation is riskiest transportation because the chances of accidents are greater because uncertainties are more. We cannot predict some more certain uncertainties, so the chances of accidents are more. And if there any accidents occur, so that will be the damages what occurs will be more. And also it is not possible to provide door-to-door service, and also it is not flexible with respect to the route and the timings. Okay, so these are the some of the characteristics of various modes of transportation. And next, we have the one important topic with respect to the different mode of transportation. It is the intermodal transportation. Okay, so we have listed the advantages and disadvantages of different modes of transportation. So now here we can achieve the intermodal transportation by making use of the advantages that we are having with the different mode of transportation. So here, taking the advantages of various modes, it is possible for us to link one or two or more modes of transportation. Okay, so for cooperating on the movement. So this whenever you link two or more modes of transportation, that we call it as the intermodal transportation. And what are the benefits of getting the intermodal transportation? We can achieve the high speed. So usually intermodal transportation will be done for the freight traffic, for transporting the goods. And when you talk about the benefits, so it is having a very high speed. You can reach your transport your material to a greater system with a high speed. And the cost efficiency, so we can minimize the what is the cost requirement for the transportation. And it is also the environmental friendliness. Environmentally friendliness, it is like you can reduce actually the emission rate with the help of the intermodal transportation. And it is having a lot of flexibility and convenience with respect to the route, time, and material to be transportation, and the mode which you are going to choose. And also the safety is high, and reliability capacity, you can actually carry the greater amount of goods with the help of when you integrate the different modes of transportation. Okay, so now we'll look into the what are the such intermodal transportation facilities that are available for us. The first one, the various different intermodal services. We had, as we told you, we have 4 modes of transportations here: railways, roadways, waterways, and the airways. So here when you link one mode of transportation with the other mode, that we will call it as the intermodal transportation. So when we link rail with the roads, we call that as a piggyback system. When you link rail with the water, we call it as the transship. Or when you link rail with the air, we call it as the air truck or airbag, or we can also call it as air truck or the bird bag. And when you link road with the water, we call it as the fishy bank system. So we'll look into that, what are the systems that are available. So the very first one, intermodal transportation system, what is available for us is the piggyback system. So piggyback system is a combination of the rail and road transportation. Okay, will be taking the advantages of both the rail system and the road transportation facility for the movement of your goods. So now how does it work? Okay, so here we have 2 types of the piggyback system, TOFC and COFC. COFC stand for container on flat car. TOFC stand for the trailer on the flat cars. So now what is this COFC and TOFC? So as you can see here, so from the factory where you need to transport your material, so all the goods will be loaded onto the trucks. Okay, so in the container on flat cars or the trailer on the flat car, second one, TOFC unit. So what would we do is the entire truck unit can be transferred onto the rail, and that will be carried to the next railway station. So from the destination and railway station, the trucks will be moved out of the rail, and it will take help of the road transportation to reach the respective point of the destination. But in the second system, container on flat car unit, so whatever the product we had, so that is transferred into the containers. So those containers will be transferred on the rails, and then the containers again taken back on the truck unit, and it will be fixed onto the truck unit and to reach the respective destination. So here we are integrating the road network as well as the rail system, which will constitute the piggy bank system. So advantages is it will provide the lowest cost and high load capacity, and it is very suitable to transport the material over the long distance on the land transportation only. So second one is the fishy bank system. So as I told you earlier, the same thing, you will have a container. So it is like TOFC, similar to COFC, or containers will be transferred onto the ship. So there the containers were transferred on the rails, but here all your containers will be transferred onto the ships, because the fishy bank is a combination of the water with the rail and road. So through the road networks, you will bring your containers to the, or you bring your product to the nearest harbor, or the nearest harbor, and then in the port, what you'll do is all your material will be loaded onto the truck. Okay, so those containers, the huge containers will be loaded, and the loaded container will be transferred onto the ships. Okay, through the ships it will carry to the next nearest port, and from the other port you can transfer back all your material onto the some truck units, and through the road network you can reach the product to the required destination. And the advantages is here is the lowest cost, and it is very economical to move your bulk traffic, and we only transport the material of less importance with the help of the fishy bank system. And the last system we have is the bird back system. Okay, bird back system is the combination of the air transport as well as the road transport. It is the greatest advantages is being the fastest mode of transportation, and it has been used only during the emergencies, because it is very expensive in nature, and we cannot possible for us to transport all type of material. Only those products or the materials which are of high importance and emergency, there is a need of emergency, only such material can be transported now. Because for example, now in the pandemic condition, it is required for us to get the oxygen cylinders from the abroad, okay, from other countries. So what we do is we cannot rely on any other mode of transportation. The only options we have is the combination of your rail or road with the air transportation, so that you can get your products or whatever the requirement as early as the possible. But the system is the most expensive one. So these are the various methods of integrating the different modes of transportation network, and all this work will be done for the sustainable development of the transportation. So you can call any transportation network as the sustainable only when it will cause the minimum damage to the environment, and we will have the less economy, and which will contribute towards the society. So whenever you integrate a different mode of transportation, whatever the advantages we have, we can have the least climate change, and we can have the air quality can be improved, we can reduce the noise pollution, and the what is the land usage and the waste that has been developed. That all those things can be minimized here. And also the economy, the energy, mainly with respect to the energy, can be saved here. And also we can have the employment opportunities, the pricing and competitiveness, means we can give the importance for each and every mode of transportation, so that all the modes of transportation within the country will develop together. And society, the benefits are the safety will increase, health aspects can be monitored, there is a minimum disturbance to the society, and we will have a better accessibility, so which will all move towards the sustainable growth of transportation facilities. So these are already I hope clear with the various modes of transportations, and the characteristics of various modes, and how to integrate the various modes of transportation for the sustainable development. And thank you everyone. I will continue with the discussion in the next session.